Okay, I think I am all squared away. So let's get into the last match of the night.
All right. Shoop first. We already saw Shoop play again earlier too. That was a PVT though, and against a B teamer. You stepping in for him, for his team.
Okay, spawning in the upper left corner of Fighting Spirit, we have the orange Protoss Shoop. And now he's back to the Kukulza, aka just to confuse us.
Yeah, he would do that. Nice to know we got another orange Protoss here. And we got another blue Zerg. We had blue Zerg versus orange Protoss last game.
It's just maybe Blizzard seeds it based on a week, you know? It's always the same every week. It's gotta be it.
Yeah, it's gotta be something Blizzard's doing. But anyway, we got in the bottom left here, Fighting Spirit, our blue Zerg AweAwe222.
So once again, another PvZ, and you know, I do know Shoop's Protoss style a decent amount. We've played a lot of games together. He doesn't play like Seish. He doesn't really play like
anybody.
Yeah, like anybody.
He plays like
No, I was gonna say he doesn't really play like Hermu or Crane rather. So we're gonna have a very different match here. I've seen some of AweAwe's games as well, but I don't know if I've seen ZVP.
Yeah, I did see some ZVP out of him. He played in a tourney that I believe it was Tai2 hosted, in Clan Bounce, Bun Tag. I believe they hosted a tourney and AweAwe was in it and played against Crane actually in the finals. 2 CPL players in the finals.
Speaking of which, shout out to Crane for donating his winnings to the CPL. We're still coming up with good ways to use it. I guess he technically donated them to me, but you know, I'm not gonna profit on CPL. I'm gonna throw it right back into the scene, so I'll figure out a good way to do it.
Very nice. So right away we do see Shoop scouting first and denying that hatchery a little bit, but he did manage to just sneak it down past that probe.
Yeah, but this is already, you know, 150 minerals or so built up after the hatch goes down, so that's a nice delay. That's what you like to see as Protoss, and you know, what else are you gonna get done with the scout at that point? We do have the Forge first out from Shoop.
Actually, we have the Nexus.
Oh, the Nexus first, rather. Yep, we do have the Nexus
first. He's playing
nice
and greedy. He went 11x, yeah. Playing nice and greedy.
Yeah, I mean, he scouted no pool, so he can do it. And we actually have 3 hatch before pool, so just greed on greed.
Yeah,
says, I can out-greed you any day.
Yeah, well, no, very nice moves by both players, like realizing, okay, he went Nexus first, so I don't have to get my pool right away. And we continue, you know, Shoop's like, okay, you got your pool late, I'm gonna go ahead and get my gateway before cannon.
Yeah.
So both players reacting very well to what the other player is doing.
Yeah, making the good adjustments.
Yeah.
I'm a little surprised Shoop is not going for the cannons, to be honest, because the Zerglings are a decent time away. You could totally set up a cannon rush in this situation, but it looks like he's not going to do that, just going to keep his build tight, which, you know, I respect that. It's probably the better move.
Yeah, I mean, if he doesn't get away with it, he just wasted those minerals.
Yep, exactly, and just puts himself that much farther behind. So I do want to see a cannon. You can't go cannonless, but I expect he'll put that down pretty soon here. And wow, a lot of drones coming out. Not even a pair of lings.
Look at the greed here.
Yeah, this is just total greed. They're just mind gaming each other. This is like econ cheese.
Econ cheesing each other. Yeah, Shoop throwing down the cyber core before a cannon.
And a fast 4th hatchery as well, so interesting. Is this actually going to be a 4-hatch build, or is a 5th hatch going to be coming? With the gas timing, it looks like a 4th hatch build to me.
Okay, so probably a 4-hatch Hydra.
Most likely. You know, you can't really do too much else with 4-hatch. You don't have the resources to get the faster tech, and 4-hatch Zergling just isn't that good.
And
there's still no cannon.
What is going on?
This is the craziest game. I mean, I guess he has a decent amount of scouting, so he knows he can kind of get away with this, but Zerg can build a lot of Zerglings real quick.
Yeah, he doesn't even have a Zealot out yet.
Yeah, that's too much. You know, if Zerg puts 100 gas into speed and just right now, nothing but Zerglings, I don't think there's anything Shoop can do.
There, he just got his first defensive down. He's got a zealot now.
His first non-probe, his first thing that does damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is beyond greed, and I guess the fact that you know, you expect there to be a cannon coming, so you move your Overlord and scout the main, and Shoop's kind of taking advantage of that. Because if a Berserk sees this, he's just gonna Zergling and kill you.
And also he knows he can do this too, skipping the Stargate. Seeing the 4-hatch build coming out of Zerg, if Zerg does a 4 or 5-hatch build, you can certainly do this. Skip the Stargate and get the faster +1 speed zeal attack, which we see Shoop doing. I would expect to see him throw down a couple more gateways and go for just like a 4-gate zeal bust. And it looks
he's actually gonna harass with 2 zealots, which is gonna at least see the timing of the Hydra, if nothing else. But there's not a lot of Zerglings here, so it's gonna come down to drone micro. Gonna target a drone. It's not quite dead yet, but it needs one more hit, and it's kind of lost in the Maynard. One drone does go down. These kind of moves are really, really nice. They hurt Zerg quite a bit. Even forced a colony out, which I think is a bit of an overreaction. And gonna get a full scout. The Zealot's gonna see the lair timing, gonna see the hydrogen and everything.
Yeah, he killed 2 drones for those Zealots. Yeah,
I saw one go down for sure. I think a second might have.
Yeah, I think he got 2 drones for 2 Zealots. So not the best trade in the world, but he'll take it. I mean, at this point, he's got his speed on the way. He's just now throwing down his first cannon.
Yep, his third Zealot is harassing the third of AweAwe and is getting its money's worth. That's 3 drones dead now. And this is exactly what Shoop does every time he attacks somewhere, but his real intention is this kind of thing. It's tough to deal with as a Zerg player. You need to be very well prepared and able to move all over. So this is a ton of damage. 3 drone kills and stopping mining. 4 is only going to pop. They should be able to take that out even if it gets behind the minerals. But that's damage done. And at this point, I think AweAwe has been disrupted enough that you know, any harassment or attack that he was planning to do is probably not going to be that effective.
Yeah, I mean, Shoop's +1 and speed are both done, so he's moving out here at 7 minutes, which is, I mean, faster than a normal timing or a Stargate build. Plus, he also played so greedy that he was able to, you know, get it out even a little bit faster.
Yeah, by skipping the cannons, all of those things. Like, as a Zerg player, you're like, I can still drone a little bit and then I'll make my Hydras, and no, you can't. Versus this much greed, and these Zealots are basically uncontested. They're not nearly enough units. That one Zealot is going to come back to join the party, so this is actually going to be really critical damage. I think most of these drones are going to go down if they don't run to another base.
Yeah, Shoop with the real greed, and it's paying off for him here. Like, he's forced the drone pulls again. No mining here. He's just going to kill all these Hydras. This is a lot of damage done.
This is a ton of damage. He's actually going to take this base out, I think. Those Hydras were taken out. Reinforcements are trying to come through, but there's not nearly enough. So you know, that's one of the problems with the Zerg is you're trying to ride that knife edge of defense, and if you get disrupted a little bit early game, you just don't have the engine you are used to, and this kind of thing can happen. You know, because all those little harassment attacks that Shoop did really ends up equating to like 6 or 7 Hydras at this timing. And there's 6 or 7 Hydras more here to hold that ramp. It's very possible that you can just win that fight. I like this move at 12. I was trying to get something done.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Shoop was trying to take his third base behind this. You know, again, a greedy, quick third base, but you know, AweAwe is aware of this, sending a few Hydras out there and just denying it, slowing it down.
Yeah, that's super greedy. Like an 8 o'clock or 8 minute third base without basically any tech. Like he's got Templar tech. That is super greed. What a game.
Yeah,
this is a good one to learn from, actually.
Yeah, I mean, he knew he could kind of get away with it because he killed this hatchery and he didn't have like a ton of units out. But if he just had a few Zealots at that 12 o'clock, he certainly would have been able to take this greedy base and held it. Didn't have to cancel those cannons or anything. Even still, he's still gonna get it up like pretty early here. Yeah, he's just got his Zealots moving around the map. He denied the space, so like Shoop's definitely way ahead now. Yeah, he is definitely way ahead. He's got a bunch of Storms building up at his natural 2. I see 6 Templar, and all of them are going to have a ton of energy soon. Storm is probably going to be finished soon if it's not done already. But Shoop is actually going to actually attack again with these Zealots. I think this is a mistake. You know, that's not a fight he's going to win, and at this point, you want your next attack
with all of the storms to be as strong as possible. So trading units is not a good choice right now.
Yeah, so he does back out smartly. You know, he doesn't. You don't want to throw away all those zealots. Something I need to learn, but.
Yeah, so now the attack's coming out. He's got the storms. He's got a couple of goons coming. I'm sure more are on the way. And if those zealots were there, it would be even better. Although AweAwe's going to see that there's a hole in the defense, he's just going to take position at this 12 on the ramp, which is a great move.
Yeah, he may be able to take out this Nexus and further deny it. Oh, a couple lurkers trying to block that ramp a little bit there.
Oh, but a pretty good storm.
Oh, nice.
There's just too many storms. I think Shoop can force his way up here. Actually canceling on the lurker eggs as well.
That's a bit unfortunate. So he's gonna get to keep the Nexus. Not gonna get all his army here. He's kind of just trying to buy time for that lurker to finish, but there's enough storms that Shoop could just storm the lurker to death. Really
and the goons can kill it too. Actually gonna get, he's gonna storm all of his Templar! He almost lost 3 Templar there.
He just stormed nothing.
Just like storm all these probes and Templars because there's a lurker under them, like, alright.
Let's make the game fun.
Yeah, for sure. So he's managed to secure the third, and it looks like AweAwe's just getting his own third back up. So this is super far behind as a Zerg player. This is not where you want to be. And this kind of thing, like, if you are used to a certain style of play, and you have people who are cutting corners, like, there's a reason that you can't cut the corners Shoop cut. All of that stuff is abusable, but AweAwe just played his game rather than trying to abuse it, and Shoop got away with murder. And so now we're in this situation where AweAwe was unprepared for the attack that Shoop eventually made.
Yeah, we did see him cut some of his own corners, like getting that third hatch before Pool, but Shoop got away with a lot more. You know, getting everything up before his cannon, like Citadel before cannon. He was playing super greedy here, and it's paying off for him now. Like, you can see it in the supply. He's already almost 100 supply ahead. He got his third up and running. It's saturated. Always just barely mining from his third now after losing it earlier.
Yeah, that's, if you take the risks, then you can reap the rewards. And so here we are. So at this point, what can AweAwe do to come back? He really has to just win a fight in monumental fashion. So maybe, you know, sniping the obs, getting lurkers, doing a ton of free damage, something like that. There's not a lot here, actually. No storms with this. I don't see any observers.
There's no obs either. He tried to commit, so he had to pull back. No obs. But...
There's no obs at all. And then Shoop's doing, he always loves to take these bases that technically are the Zerg's base, but if it's ramped, you know, it's much easier to hold. And this puts Zerg in a really tough position where they can't effectively split the map anymore. This, you know, AweAwe still can come back in this game. I've seen, and I've been in games where Shoop loses from positions like this, so he's in that strange spot where he doesn't want to attack even though he has pretty overwhelming force, just because there's lurkers out and you know, there's a couple of colonies. He's afraid to go across those ramps. Like, I don't think he knows how far ahead he is.
Yeah.
He is going to chase down this army, and if he commits to that, oh, he's going to lose his obs if he's not careful.
Well, he does snipe one of the obs. The other one just keeps it alive. Okay.
Yeah, so it's going to come down to these storms, and that's so money.
Nice.
Oh my god, so much damage is going down on these Hydras. There is still one ob somewhere. Where did it go?
It's in the back of it.
It's way back here. So these lurkers are getting a ton of free damage that they have no right to get, but it's not going to be enough. I think in general, this kind of move is still an okay trade for AweAwe, just given how far behind he was. The problem for him is that Shoop's taking this fourth.
Supply block now too.
Yeah, getting supply blocked in that fight, losing some overlords.
Shoop's attacking up here, expecting a base, but there is no base.
Well, AweAwe was trying to establish a defense at the bridge, so you would expect to see something here. There's just a hiding drone, and if that gets away and builds a base after Shoop leaves, then, you know, AweAwe's in an okay spot in terms of options, I would suppose.
Fourth base here for Shoop.
Yeah, this is a good move in terms of trying to kill this, but he doesn't have enough. And now losing units, yeah, he's just gonna call GG. So yeah, the greed paid off. Big time.
Yeah, Shoop could have just, I mean, he could have won it a couple minutes earlier. Just as soon as those obs were out, he could have just busted Zerg at the natural. I just replaced it.
Because Shoop doesn't leave the game immediately. He always plays like another 20 seconds.
But yeah, I mean, well played.
Well
I mean,
played.
both sides cutting corners, showing good reaction of PvZ. Like, you know how one person cuts corners, so you can cut the corner.
It was almost
They
like a
can't
game of
cut
greed
corners.
chicken, and AweAwe
Yeah.
lost.
Yeah, it's like, all right, who's gonna spend that money they don't actually need to spend first, right? Who's gonna get the cannon first?
Who's
and
gonna
commit to
make the
wings?
first fighting unit? I
Yeah.
dare you. And you know, that's kind of how, like, way back in the day when Protosses learned they could forge fast expand, that's kind of how it felt. Like there was this arms race in terms of how greedy each side could be. This is a little beyond what is settled on because it is punishable. At some point before 8 minutes, you need a cannon.
Definitely.
Alright, so game 2 between these guys. What will happen next? Is it just going to be hyper aggressive this time? Like cheese? Or is it going to be another game of chicken?
Try and take advantage of each other. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some abusable things Zerg can do on this map we talked about earlier too, right? Like Zerg could do some kind of lurker shenanigans, drop lurkers on the cliff, or drop lurkers in the base and kill probes, unsuspecting Protoss.
Absolutely, and we've seen Shoop being a little bit lazy with his obs, so lurkers are not a bad choice. It's going to come down to which base AweAwe decides to expand to. You know, if any of these players opt to go for something really wonky, maybe like a one base play from somebody, probably Protoss. Although you can one play Zerg, I've seen it.
Well, I've had it happen to me a few times.
Yeah,
one of my teammates one base Zerged against me.
How'd that one go?
They lost. Mina Zerg.
Oh yeah.
One base muta me or something.
I mean, it's possible,
One hatch
but
muta.
you never know. You never know. So we do have the probe is going to come out and make forward pylon, so no one base shenanigans out from Shoop.
Maybe you'll
and
make 2 gateways there.
it's possible. 2 gate openings, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see anything, to be honest. What do we have here? We have a 9 pull out from AweAwe, so not even overpull. He's going to be trying to get something done with Zerglings. Maybe he finally realized there was no cannon.
Yeah. I'm wondering if that's an adjustment to last game. He's like, okay, this guy like made a nexus first before his forge. I'm just gonna, you know, go this fast spawning pool and kill him.
And it might actually work, depending on what happens with the scouting. You know, if Shoop just blindly nexuses here, then, you know, that's absolutely going to work.
I don't expect him to.
I wouldn't expect him to either, and there is the forge. But there is still a bit of a threat here. You know, it looks like he's going to go down. Maybe not. No, Probe's kind of faking me out, but he is going down to the bottom base. So he's going to scout this last, which means Zerglings are going to be, you know, en route.
I think he might have just saw the Overlord in his vision. He certainly doesn't see it now, but it was
Well,
close.
that probe hasn't changed position at all.
Yeah. I mean, if he did notice it, he should have changed the probe direction, but he's not. Okay. So yeah, just playing safe, throwing down the cannon first.
Yeah, and he is going to go all the way into the main as well, not just going to scout the natural. So that's going to give AweAwe just enough time to get these Zerglings out. And Shoop will have no idea. This wall is not going to be fully fleshed out because he's going Nexus before gate. There's no way Shoop's going to just blindly pull probes. Oh, but AweAwe doesn't know where he is? No, he knows. What is he doing?
Yeah. He's not sending the Zerglings.
He's pulling them. This is such a mistake. You need to send Zerglings with the 9 pull. I mean, at the very least, you need to force probes to be pulled. Shoop's going to have plenty of time to deal with this now.
He's just going to, like, stop the probe from scouting, I guess, is a plan.
That's a big investment to stop a probe scout.
Yeah.
And if the scout sees the Zerglings, it's all he needs to scout to begin with.
Yeah, I feel like that's a fair mistake from AweAwe. Like, it kind of goes back. Oh, and the probe gets
And the probe gets in. I mean, oh, that is such a mistake.
I mean, he's sending the Zerglings now, but Shoop's seen them. He's had time to react. Like, he's got a second cannon started.
Yeah, he's
pulling
just
his probes.
calmly getting the probes in place. He's got enough time to get that gate, a second cannon. It is a really awkward wall, so he might take some damage here. And actually, speed kicks in. I guess I was waiting for speed. So this
nice
is kind of awkward.
The cannon can't actually quite reach those lings, but
Yeah, but they're not really doing damage. And actually, Shoop cancels the cannon. He just says one cannon's good enough. Which is kind of crazy because he doesn't have a scout. He's got speedlings in his base. He doesn't have a scout anymore. If this is pure Zergling, he loses the game. Like, this wall is awful. I don't know how many gaps that is.
He is losing a few probes here. Building a cannon in the main, too.
Yeah, cannon in the main, I guess, would keep him in the game, but he would lose his natural. If this was pure Zergling reinforcement, just like... I think Shoop is used to playing greedy Zergs too much, and he cuts too many corners. He's going to cancel that. This is crazy. He has no vision.
That's
he has no vision at all. Like,
he's sending the Zealot to the top of his base where there's no Zerglings.
You rally your hatches here, and you hit SZ a few times, you just win the game.
Okay. He's gonna get a few more probes here. At least one more anyway. So, I mean, he's definitely doing some decent damage here to Shoop, and behind this he's getting a lair and a Hydralisk den on 2 hatches.
So he is going to go for lurkers. He hurt us back in time.
Yeah.
This is a weird 2-base lurker play. I really think, you know, if you have your Overlord here and you see this, you have to be making lings. You've already invested in speed. That cannon does nothing. Like, even 4 Zerglings would kill that cannon.
Yeah. This is very interesting. I mean, I guess he's not getting any Overlord upgrades yet, like drop or anything. He's making, okay, yeah, he does have Hydralisk.
I would expect, yeah, he's going straight into lurker. Not necessarily needing the Overlord drop, might transition into that, but you don't really have the gas to spare. Now, this probe is going to come out. He doesn't have a single link to stop it, it looks like. Though there's some lings under here, but he has the Hydra showing now, and if Shoop sees the lair, oh, he did not see the lair. So Shoop doesn't know if you know, this is a 3-base Hydra. He might think this is just like a sort of normal 3-hatch Hydra build transition, but that lair is really important to scout. And this Zealot's out on the map. I don't know what he intends to do. I guess he's gonna try to hide and come back when AweAwe's committed his forces.
Yeah, for sure. If I was in this position as Shoop, I would be thinking, you know, okay, some kind of a Hydra bust here. I am not seeing the lair, but...
Yeah, so at this point, you know, once it's been scouted, you have to assume cannons are going down at the front. You can snipe the wall with lurkers, and I would be going for slow drop, because if Protoss is investing this many cannons at the front, what do they have in the back? The Zealot is going to come in, and I think he might actually get some drone kills. It's going to come down. Oh, there's Zerglings just pop in time. Luckily, those are 4 Zerglings. So the drone should be kind of safe. Gets 1, which is big. I mean, Zerg is running on very few drones at the moment. So this Zealot is well worth it. And the cannons are made. Oh no, AweAwe is going to commit super hard. He actually tanks a bunch of cannon shots. Wow, he actually gets in.
Behind the cannons.
This cannon's still in range.
Yeah, cannon's gonna... Oh.
1 lurker goes down. He needs to get the second. Oh my god, there's no cannon at the main base.
Oh, that lurker almost dies to the cannons running into the main too.
And he actually wisely burrows decently far away. Those probes could potentially jump on him and kill him. He's not going to be able to kill this cannon, I don't think. But there's the GG.
Okay.
Wow, it works. What a crazy game. What a crazy series between these two.
Yeah, that was interesting. Wow. So you were right. Like the first game we saw, you know, that super greedy play from both players, and here we're just seeing like this aggressive play. You know, AweAwe going for that ling run by, and then the cannons being canceled all over the place, and the switching to lurkers and just running them by and like 2 very different games from these players.
Yeah, and I like it. I really wish that AweAwe just recognized he could kill him with lings. Like, he had the game plan and he executed, which is great, but this Overlord saw it the whole time. Like, Shoop would have died. He had nothing. If they don't have a solid wall and you have speed and you have more than 1 hatchery, it's very easy to kill him with legs.
For sure.
But that was a crazy game. I really liked it.
Yeah.
Really surprised he ran past with that many cannons, but it totally worked out. So well played.
Very good, and sets us up for game 3 as well.
So we've seen the aggro, we've seen the econ cheese. What could game 3 possibly have in store for us?
I don't know.
A standard game?
Heaven forbid.
That's too weird, man. It can't happen.
Who goes standard these days? All right. Well, why don't we get into it and find out here?
Let's do it.
Game game number 3 between Shoop and AweAwe.
On match point, 4 match point.
How fitting. Alright, so here we go. Winning with that crazy lurker aggression. In the bottom left here, we have our red Zerg AweAwe222.
And on the top right of the map, we have the teal Protoss Shoop the Whooper. Always saying he wants his hands to stop shaking. It's the adrenaline.
It was a pretty nervous game, nerve-wracking game.
Dude, I'd be nervous running those Zerkers in. That is a crazy Hail Mary play. One thing I want to point out is the split from AweAwe was bad. He had a drone kind of underneath another drone, and then he sent a different drone to another patch to try to fix it. So I think he missed exactly what happened. He only saw 3 and guessed. So he's going to be slightly behind. And, you know, versus Shoop, who can pull out some weird stuff in the early aggro, every little thing matters. So we may see that come into play here.
Yeah, so maybe we'll see something aggressive out of Shoop too. Maybe they'll do Gateway first. Kind of punish that. I doubt it, but you never know with Shoop.
Yeah, this is a tough map to Gateway first, as we kind of said before. But we could see it just in terms of keeping your opponent off balance. I think Shoop definitely does favor the Forge fast expand, but he can Gateway.
One thing you can do with the Gateway first build too is use that to play defensively, and then just get your tech out quicker.
Yeah, I have seen that style. It certainly is easier on the Protoss player in terms of what they have to keep track of. And it can take Zerg off guard because, you know, they kind of think, oh, I'm safe, no one's being aggressive. Oh, the probe block, I think that was misintentional or unintentional there. But yeah, like a lot of times Zerg thinks they're safe and then they prepare for the normal timing. But there's a lot more zealots at the normal timing because you've just been banking them. So you can absolutely take people off guard that way.
For sure. We'll have to see what Shoop's wall. I guess he's going to put the Gateway on top of the Forge here. I believe I've seen this wall before. Done before as well. Oh, okay, he's not actually putting the Gateway there.
Yeah, where does the Gateway go out in front? Like where does the gate go here? Out on the side here and then you mine the mineral? Like, this is a strange wall.
Yeah.
That's 2 very strange walls.
I was expecting the Gateway to go there, and I was like, okay, I've seen this wall. Then it's kind of like, okay, he canceled one of the cannons again. I don't know, Shoop making all these blind cannons and stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, playing a little scared.
I think that's fine, especially after that last game. Like, you're not really sure what's up. It is a 2-player map as well, so going aggressive Zerglings is possible.
Okay, there's the Gateway.
Yeah, okay, so he's just going to block that off and then mine out the mineral at some point.
No, I don't know if that's fully blocked. Like, maybe the Gateway on top of the Forge part is. But I don't know about to the left. That spot there is actually really weird. I did some testing of walls on this map earlier on in CPL, and I actually had a hard time just blocking that area off. I actually had to put like the Forge behind to block it, so it may be tight. I don't know. May not be.
Well, we'll see if that plays into this game. We do have the 3 bases down for AweAwe, so no crazy 2-hatch lurker shenanigans like game 2. And a later Nexus out from Shoop, no econ cheese. So really, it is kind of shaping out to be a standard game. Just kind of a weird wall out from Shoop.
Standard-ish. I mean, we do see a 4th hatch going down before gas. So we're going to see a 4-hatch build.
Yep, so this is kind of like game 1 in terms of what AweAwe is going for. Obviously not 3-hatch before pool this time, and Shoop isn't playing as greedy. So we may get to see the game plan he intended to do this game.
For sure.
Oh, he's going to send his Overlord into the main, so that's good that he's being active with that. Pretty important to see if there's going to be a Stargate or not, in order to time how many drones you can make and when you have to make units. And Shoop is actually going to get his probe caught, so no more scouting for Shoop, and never confirmed a lair, which does not exist, so that's kind of an awkward timing to lose your scout.
He didn't get into the main to see that? Okay.
Well, I think he was in the main before, and he saw the gas timing, but now is about the time you want to be running around and seeing if the lair is going down. And it is not. That is a Hydra Den.
He should still have the information, seeing 4 hatches. He can kind of expect that the Zerg is going to be going for some kind of Hydra play here.
Yeah, if he was really paying attention, saw the 4 hatches and the gas, you would expect some level of aggression. It's all a question of when, and if there is going to be a lair along with it, that opens up a ton more threats. So I would expect him to put down probably a second cannon at some point. It looks like he's going to just move out with 2 zealots in an attempt to scout.
Yeah, he's actually playing very aware of this, too. He is skipping the Stargate again, and going for the faster Citadel and gateways. Definitely something you can do if Azir goes for 5 hatch gas.
Yep. Now these Zerglings are actually running pretty far away from the ramp, which I'm a little surprised in. I would think you want to hold it there. But now he's going to see the first Hydra, so that will confirm the timings for him.
She was kind of just like trying to hold the ramp.
Yeah, hold a very wide ramp with only 2 zealots and 2 Hydras right there. That's not going to work out, but I appreciate the effort. Third zealot is going to attack at the third, but this time units are going to be able to defend that, so I don't think he's gotten a single kill. So this is the difference, right? Like all those little minor things. Shoop in game 1 sent 2 zealots, did some damage, sent a third zealot out, did some damage. And this game, because he's not as far ahead, because he didn't cut as many corners, you know, always perfectly prepared, and those zealots are forced to run home.
Yeah, he did kill one of those zealots, sending the other 2 home. So, I mean, we're kind of seeing game 1 if it wasn't super economic greed.
Yep, game 1 more standard play here. So I think we will see what AweAwe had in mind, and we have the lair coming out now, sort of a delayed lair. But this is a 4 hatch into a 5 hatch kind of converging build. I'm not sure if I really like that style, but we'll have to see how these first few fights go. So slow lot's coming across the map. +1 is finished, but no speed. Versus 4 hatch, yeah, this is kind of a problem, because if the Zerg has enough speed Hydras, all of these are going to die.
Yeah, I think Shoop's speed must have been a little late. Like his +1 is done, but speed is still only about 80% done.
Right, so now you see, okay, Zerg is defended, time to run back, but honestly, AweAwe can just kill every single one of these zealots.
It looks like he's not actually going to chase them, so Shoop's going to get away with this. Speed is going to finish shortly, so...
Yeah, I think
AweAwe definitely could have punished that more.
That's a big missed opportunity there. You know, and if you go for that 4 hatch build, you really should have the units to deal with this. So now speed is done. Shoop's going to come in for round 2. AweAwe's going to move it down to block the ramp at a good timing, so he's still going to be safe. But he could have, you know, half of these zealots could have been dead before speed kicked in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I said definitely a missed opportunity, but Shoop's saying he can't really do anything. He's going to run the... Or not? Maybe?
The fights are never over. But there's no way that, I mean, these zealots are hurt enough. They can't get a lot done. They're going to catch 2 Hydras while AweAwe was trying to consolidate his army, but that's about it. I guess 2 Zerglings too. Yeah.
Let's see what he's got going on.
Now, the one thing I'm a little concerned with is the drone saturation is not amazing at the third. And if AweAwe just keeps this Hydra versus Zealot fight up, he's going to start falling behind in the econ.
Yeah, especially because Shoop's now got his first few Templars out. He's going to get his... Storm is probably done or just about done.
Yeah, so...
Okay, I imagine it's finished. He's going to have his tech up. He's going to have these Zealots out on the map.
See, the threat of the Zealots on the map mean that you can't just be aggressive, which is exactly what Shoop wants. He wants to just keep AweAwe's Hydras from getting to his base while he gets Storm Tech and keep building up units. He manages to get on top of things here, and he is going to kill at least 1 drone, but he's going to sacrifice all the Zealots to do it. So I don't know if this is going to be...
I feel like that was a bit risky, yeah.
Oh, it's totally risky. And actually,
it's trapped.
AweAwe tried to block the ramp, it looked like, but Shoop does manage to get out with a good portion of the Zealots. It really wasn't worth it for Shoop, though.
Yeah, he killed a sunken... I mean, he did pull the drone, get the drones pulled, but I don't think he did enough of those.
Right, and that wasn't a very heavily mining base to begin with. You know, if he had pulled all the drones to the natural, let's say, that's a lot more mining lost. So now AweAwe has an opportunity to be aggressive here, and he's going to take it. A lot of these Zealots...
In here.
Yeah, it's gonna come down to storms here, and always a little clumped. He has to be careful. Good
Oh,
storm.
nice storm. Nice storm.
That's a lot of hydras left, and I don't see. There's one more storm or two more storms. Oh my God, there's so many.
Those are great storms.
That is killer, and the game swings. Honestly, like if those two storms are dodged, this base dies 100%.
Yeah.
Even now, it might still barely go down if AweAwe can get some more units over here, but it looks like throughout all of that, macro might have slipped a little bit. There's only a handful of Hydra.
So, Shoop getting up his third base at pretty normal timing here. I guess he doesn't have any Dragoons or Obs out yet.
I don't see an observatory, so I think that is a little late. But it's a decent timing, and there's no lurkers on the field, so he's not gonna get punished by that. Meanwhile, AweAwe has macroed up a ton of drones, so he did not persist with the Hydra pressure. He's transitioning, gonna probably take a fourth base soon. But this attack out from Shoop now is a little bit scary because that's a lot of drones that AweAwe just made.
I guess Shoop thinks he can kind of get away with this because he knows it was a 4-hatch build, so the layer was delayed. But we actually have Hive coming out now, so he's just going to skip all the layer tech units, it looks like, and go straight into Hive.
Yep, and we have a good storm dodge, actually threatening to snipe a lot of Hydras, or snipe a lot of Templar. Second storm is money, so that's a bunch of really good storms this game. And another storm that actually connects pretty good and does a ton of damage. I think AweAwe had opportunity to kill a couple of those Templar there. He moved in his Hydras very aggressively and didn't do it. Meanwhile, 3 Zealots split off. They might actually shut down this base if Shoop can sort of distract AweAwe for a little bit. But he's actually pulled back all the way, so those are going to get dealt with no problem.
Yeah, he's going to be aware of this. Kill off those Zealots. Shoop, meanwhile, is just starting the transfer here. He's starting to mine from his third base. It is mineral only, but he is setting up that fourth base as well in the bottom right. Getting ready to take that. Does he have an observatory or anything yet? He does now. I guess he doesn't need it too, but... Oh, there are actually some lurkers. Okay, no, he didn't completely skip layer units. He did make a few lurkers. What do you think he's going to be doing with this Hive, though?
I mean, a Hive tech is just where you want to get to. You know, the game changes completely when you can get the crack upgrade and filers out. So getting it this fast is a little strange. I don't know if he has some specific timing planned, or if he's just trying to get to that stage of Zerg as fast as possible. This is not a good attack from Shoop. Those Zealots are getting eaten alive, and he's got to run now. Actually, he gets a great storm on the retreat, but it's not nearly an even trade yet. AweAwe needs to be careful attacking with lurkers, though.
Yeah, I was surprised Shoop kind of committed to that attack with no obs yet. Just attacking up into those lurkers.
See, that's just inviting a massive storm on top of those lurkers.
And there is an obs here now, so he should be... Oh. No, okay.
It actually works out, but that kind of move forward when you know there's Templar and obs is so scary. That's just a risky move you don't need to take. But this is threatening to actually kill this army off, and there's so many Templar here that would be such a big win. In fact, one of them is just going for a leisurely stroll, saying hi to the Hydras.
Hey Hydras, what's up?
See, this is a part... AweAwe needs to get his money under control. Obviously, he only has 2 gas at the moment, so his minerals are kind of piling up. But you need to kind of recognize when you take a mineral only, you're going to need that hatch a little bit faster. You're going to need to make some Zerglings most likely.
Yeah, again, I think we had that missed opportunity. He could have killed Shoop's army out there, Zealots and Templar.
It really looked like it. Like there was a handful of storms available, but there was, all of these reinforcements plus this Hydra army. There's no way that wouldn't have taken that. And now, those Templar are able to charge up and get more storms and regroup. So that's a big loss.
Yeah, and I mean now he's got Dragoons meeting up with his army. He's getting his army to where he wants to be. And I don't know about this.
Pushing up this small bridge. I mean, the storms are going to start raining down on this, and there's nowhere to run.
I mean, yeah, the storms were late. That's the only saving grace for him. Trying to attack up a small bridge like this usually is not going to go well.
Oh wow, it actually kills both those lurkers as well. Yeah, there's almost no way that goes well. And during all of that, his macro has been slipping a little bit. He is securing that third gas, which he desperately needs. And his Hive is done. I don't see any Hive tech. So presumably he's got Crackling, but he's not on a heavy He doesn't have speed for his Zerglings. Or does he?
I think he...
No, he does. He does.
Oh, man.
Maybe. Maybe he doesn't. Sometimes it's hard to tell after you cast this many games.
I find it kind of interesting or weird. Like, he got that hive pretty early. He's had that hive for a long time, but he hasn't done anything with it. He said maybe he has cracklings.
I think he just hasn't had enough gas. Because he's been on 2 gas this whole time. He's been building a ton of like Hydra Lurk, and you can't afford to do that with only 2 gas, really.
Yeah, well, you can see that too. He's got so many minerals. Again, goes back to that mineral-only base. But
so there's a massive army here versus 2 cannons, and it's just kind of chilling. I guess he's waiting for the Lurkers to morph. And meanwhile, Shoop's army is completely out of position for this. But this army is just holding a high ground. It's not doing anything, and he's actually gonna pull it back. Another missed opportunity. No. This is killer.
Just a few missed opportunities here from AweAwe. Like, we even saw that in game 1. Like, he could have taken advantage of a few positions Shoop was in.
Yeah. So now he's gonna push into an entrenched Protoss position with Lurkers.
That's never a good thing. Like, unless you have an overwhelming number, just throwing Lurkers into a Protoss ball is just gonna be bad. Just gonna lose those Lurkers or take a lot of free hits.
Yeah, and there's no reason to kill the army here. See, this is actually a really critical point. You need to defend this base, absolutely, but you've had Hive Tech, so there should be a Nidus here, and he's gonna call it GG. Oh man, that's disappointing because that was shaping up to be a really good match, and just a couple of big losses there. Kind of slipping on the macro for sure, but what I would say is, you know, recognizing this situation faster. You know, just assuming there's enough to defend your army there isn't good enough. You got to at least send a Zergling or something, see what he's got, and realize, hey, I can take this free base. And then when you notice Protoss has pushed this plateau, you should say that's fine, because there should be a Nidus here, because you've had high tech so long. And then you should bring units down here to defend, in case they try to push down the ramp. But running into them means that you're just going to lose a ton of Lurkers. So a couple of missed opportunities, a couple of bad decisions, and Shoop will take the series.
Yeah, definitely could have gone AweAwe's favor with just a couple of key moves there. Like you said, if he took out the third, if he had taken that army out earlier, recognizing, you know, Shoop's army was out of position, just little things that make a big difference, and things that can definitely be cleaned up. It's still a well-played series, and a lot of different games and fun games from both players.
Yeah, really enjoyable series for sure. So that will end up going 2-1 for Shoop. And that closes out the A-Team games from Week 9. So that ended up being 3-0 actually for Team Beast and the A-Team. I think back in the B teams, it actually went 4-0 sweep for No1CareThat. So they ended up winning the series. It's a bit of a disparity in the B team and A team relative strength there.
Yeah, kind of crazy. All the A teamers winning for Beast and all the B teamers winning for No1CareThat.
Yep.
Giving them the overall